Vault 76 in the game called Fallout 76. A lot has changed since the original game came out several years ago, where it was just robots and other people. As you can see, another person. Um, Now we have NPCs. I have taken the liberty of already coming into the game and creating my character. That way, you guys don't have to see me going through the hour or too long process of me creating this character and talking to this little robot, which he kindly explains there's two other people down here, in which they tell you they're here looking for treasure and they hand you a machete. Unfortunately, the treasure's not here, but they did tell you that the information can be found in the Wayward, which is a new bar that is in town. So, as we all know, there's definitely been some difficulties with this game since its fruition, and it is still not entirely without its issues. Earlier on, I tried streaming this issue, or streaming this game, and I didn't have my center reticule here on the screen, or my HUD down there, along with my health bar and my AP bar. It took me having to shut down the game entirely to log back in and get these items. So that's a new bug that I've just recently experienced. Hopefully you don't run across this, and if you do, it's a simple shutdown of the game and a reboot of the game, and you're perfectly fine and back in. I know it's not something that you want to have to deal with, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not entirely game breaking. It could make the game more challenging for for those of you who want to try playing without a health bar and a location on where you have to go. I myself am not that type of individual. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to head down here to the Wayward. So I use a controller to play the game, so you will not see any key bindings come up on the screen for keyboard and mouse usage during this time. It'll all be using a Xbox controller here on my computer. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding a mouse and keyboard, I could possibly give you the answer at a later date by turning my controller off and getting that information on the screen. Um, but I would be able to answer any of your questions that you have concerning a controller's operations on here via PC a lot easier. So as you can see, there are things that you can gather in the world, and I will be kind of doing small little tutorials in here, as I will have friends who are currently playing this, who are not really big into any of the MMORPGs, so they don't understand the concept of gathering resources and crafting things, or essentially building things in any of these games. So there'll be sometimes a little bit more time spent on some of these things that you would think would be easy for you, but are not necessarily easy for other people.
Now that people have come back to this area, they'll all want to be setting up places like Foundation.
So now, since the Wastelanders update has come around, you do have these settlers and things of that nature who now exist along with Blood Eagles and Raiders, and some other new creatures as well. You don't need to collect everything in this game unless you really plan on getting involved with
You want a
this.
real drink? Hit up the Wayward, tell him I sent ya.
But as far as like flowers, mushrooms, and all that things are concerned, that's more for food creation and not always a necessity until generally later in the game and stuff like that. So I wouldn't suggest necessarily gathering that. But wood, though, whenever you see a broken tree, like just a log laying on the ground, this is something that you can gather. And you do want to gather wood because this is going to be your first item that you'll need in order to start building your house. Also building um, makeshift weaponry as well. So if you see wood on the ground, don't just pass it up. Go ahead and grab it. There are some new additions to the game now where they have Fallout First. Fallout First is a subscription-based service For Fallout 76. It is, if I'm not mistaken, $12.99 a month plus taxes for your areas and things of that nature. And that will get you 1,650 atoms for the Atom Store, the Atomic Shop, to spend in here every month. You'll also get free items in the Fallout First section. They add things there every month. It's like a single item, sometimes two items. And then you also get the infinite scrap box, which means that anything that you break down, all the junk and everything that you get in the game, will allow you to go ahead and just stack just infinite amounts of these items on here. Um, there are lots of people who organize their normal stash box in here as it has an 800-pound limit. It says 800. It doesn't say pounds on it. However, there is some mathematical equation that they use in this game that uh, it seems to be adjusted more so towards pounds in the stash box, and we'll go over that a little bit later on once I've got the base built and have a stash box out. But you'll see that it's definitely not 800 items. It is 800 of something. So you have to kind of really, really watch your budget sometimes, especially towards the end of the game when you've got a lot of items that you're kind of storing up, either legendary um, weapons or armor or whatever, what have you, things that you want to keep, even clothing or something of that nature. You're going to find real quick that your stash box of 800 will surely go down uh, quite dramatically, and it'll be hard to really kind of work over your stash box supply. So the scrap box, the infinite scrap box supply, much like how ESO's infinite craft bag that they have on there, is extremely useful. Not to mention you also do have the capability of having your own private instance where you don't have to play with other people in here. So if you're worried about the PvP portion, you could go Fallout first membership on here and end up going to a private server where you don't have to worry about random people being here like this that scare you and have to worry about him trying to kill you. Personally, I don't tend to worry about that. It's not to say that I have not run across a couple people who are super high level and have decided to slaughter me for the junk that is on me, which is exactly just that junk. That's the only thing that they get off of you, and then apparently the satisfaction of just
Lady, I will
being a
paint the
jerk
walls
and
with you
killing
if you
you.
don't tell me where Crane's treasure is right now!
Sweetheart, I think you must be sick. Because point a gun. Honey, you picked the wrong time to get a drink.
What are you? Hey! Who the hell are you? None of your damn business!
What's going on is that this one seems to think I know where this big treasure is, and that I'm building my new bar out of refuse for fun.
Lady, this is your last warning. Our crew is getting that treasure. And I will happily send you both to the great goddamn beyond if you don't start explaining where I can find what's ours! Treasure's our crew's business, not yours. And unless I start getting answers right now, I'm gonna start shooting people. Hiring? You serious? You got a gun in your face and the first thing that comes to mind is picking up a side gig? Oh, you'll fit in real good. We're camped at West Virginia Lumber, up north. I'll take you there. But first...
I told you it was gonna end badly. Now I'm hoping you're here to have a drink and play nice. I've had a gun pointed at me more than enough for one day.
Give me your gun, fool. I don't think you can get it. Anyway, alright.
Huh. Well, not exactly the introduction to the wayward I would have hoped for. Well, sorry about that, darling. First round's on me. Name's Duchess. There's something I could do for you. Overseer, huh? So you must be the one. No, I haven't seen her, but I have heard her. My people found a tape she left behind for one of her dwellers at that camp across the way, though it is a bit out of date now. Maybe you're the one she left it for. I'm happy to hand it over. Though, now that we've drifted naturally onto the topic of helping one another, Maybe there's something you could do for me in return.
Needy chick already. Here we go. What did you need?
Just agreeing to lend us a hand in a little diplomatic intervention. See? That boy we put down? He's not the first of his crew to roll in here. But I want him to be the last. Normally, I'd send my people out to clean house. But my muscles run off, so I don't have the bodies to spare right now. But I'm willing to pay good money if you put an end to this for me. So, what do you say?
I could go through every single option on here until you end up just agreeing to help her. So we're just gonna go ahead and
That's
say I
what
can
I
help you.
was hoping. So, the details. Now, each of these boys came in asking after Crane. I'm thinking we can make that work for us. How would you grab the attention of a bunch of single-minded thugs? Well, aren't you a smart cookie? And just give me 1 second. Okay, I think I'll just... I just want you to know, architecture ain't exactly my forte. Huh, not half bad. So what I've chicken scratched together here for you is the schematic for one custom-made Crane Treasure Hunting Inc. sign. If I didn't butcher the plans too bad, it's got a little system built in that'll make sending out an advertisement and getting this gang's attention a snap. You just need to build it, power it, let the radio transmitter in there bring them in, then track down their boss and convince him to leave us alone. They did teach you all how to build from schematics up in that vault of yours, didn't they? That's the spirit.
Hey, if you need a refresher, good old Morty Mort can help you out.
What are you on about, Mordecai?
Hey, nah, I'm not bragging or anything, but I've got some tapes that cover that very subject.
Oh, Mort, not the tapes. Well, you find yourself wanting a refresher? Talk to Mort. Now, you'll probably need to pick up some materials, too. Wood, electronics, copper wiring and the like. And so you know, you might have to break some of this scrap down for parts. But I can spot you some workbench materials, too, since you're doing me such a big one. Who knows? Maybe you'll learn something while you do it. Now, you ready to get this show on the road? Hot dog. Be good to have those dolts off our back at long last. Just make sure, once you find out where they're hiding, that their leader gets the message. The wayward gets left alone. And here, that overseer tape. Sounds like she set up that camp across the way so her people could get some practice in... self-reliance. Probably worth looking into if you think you could use a refresher.
So, yeah, the whole point of this now is to try to figure out exactly where we have to go to find the leader of this guy's band of idiots. Well, he already just sat there and tried to get, a side gig, as he so eloquently put it. He said that they're West Virginia lumber, and then he got shot in the back. So, uh, if you know where West Virginia lumber is at, you could just go there and probably fix this pretty quickly. Be aware, though, that if you decide to go in there guns blazing, you might want to be able to have the guns and ammo to back yourself up, because there's not exactly just a couple people standing guard there. And there's a few more things, too, that are a little bit more necessary and involvement in that. And for those of you who are really new to the Fallout series and crafting and things of that nature, you could always go talk to Mort. Uh, we're not going to go do that. I've been playing this game long enough to where it's not an issue. But gather everything. The whole game is about grabbing things, breaking them down so that you can make new things. So you do have a limit on your person. So be aware that your inventory can fill up and you'll have to find a place to break this stuff down. Um, so just keep that in mind that when you're gathering things, if you start slowing down because you're over encumbered, it's because of you gathering way too many things, which tends to happen to everybody in this game. So don't feel like it's something that is just you. Believe me, we all experience it. We will continue to experience it, and it's just part of the game. You learn.
Here, Bessie. Bessie. Tactical report. Bessie. Threat assessment. Bessie. Initiate combat protocols. Good. Good. Whew. God help us if those ever start working again.
Here's Bessie, the robot that thinks that she's a cow. Yeah.
Look, whatever it is, it's gonna have to wait till morning.
So another thing that has happened as of most recent with the update 22, not too long ago, has allowed you to join public teams. Public teams is actually a really good thing to join on. First off, you don't really have to worry about the people you're on a team with trying to kill you because they're all looking to just kind of help each other. Second thing is that you get additional XP bonuses. So if you're looking to get bonuses for everything that you kill in the game, then you're going to want to go for an intelligence group in this scenario. So like this person right here has a casual team set up for intelligence. I'll go ahead and join his team. Now anything I kill, I'll get an additional little bit of XP. Down the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see it looks like something that is moving slowly, little blue bar down here, and what that is that it'll eventually link us two together and we'll get a 2 times bonus for us being on a team, so that we're also getting additional XP on top of that, which there's other things in the game that'll allow you to get additional XP as well, such as perk cards, uh, cranberry relish. I think there's also pumpkin pie, sleeping in a bed and becoming well rested, or having kindred spirit. The list goes on of different ways of getting XP. So, but right now we're mainly focused on just getting to the beginning starting points of the missions and things of that nature, which is seeing what the Overseer has to say at her next destination, her first stopping point. Since she was the original premise of the entire game, we followed her. Wayward was added later on through the Wastelander expansion update. So the Hunter for Hire, in my opinion, is a kind of later in the game scenario because this did come in after uh, the game originally came out. The first contact Overseer's log camp thing was part of the original base game. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn the Hunter for Hire tracking off because I'd like to keep the right side of my screen a little clean and only focused on what it is that I'm doing at that time. Um, So we're going to go ahead and stick to the first contact of the base game originally, and then later on we'll go ahead and visit the Hunter for Hire when I'm streaming with this character. So it tells us to listen to the Overseer's camp log, which would be under Hollow, but I don't seem to have picked that up. It should have been in a box over here. Overseer's cache, but for some reason was not in here. So I'm not sure why that is not in there. The game has been a little buggy and glitchy since some of their most recent updates. But even with that being said, what she was going to tell you was that this is her camp module, and she wants you to place a camp. Do not do what she did to where she leaves her behind and doesn't use it because it allows for moving capabilities to be a lot easier. You bring up your Pip-Boy, and in my scenario, press the left bumper button to put my camp out. Now, of course, if it's red, you're not putting it out anywhere, even though it's got this giant green circle around it. But keep moving out until you see it turn green, and that means you can place it down. I'm not going to live here. This is not what I'm going to do, and I don't really feel like getting into that right this instant. And obviously, I can't go and listen to the logs because for some reason it's not in here. But we do have to go down here to a town called. It's right down here. Can't remember what it's called, as the game seems to be really acting up tonight. But they also tell you to kind of craft some armor and things of that nature. And we're not going to do that right now either because, well, I just want to get down here to this town and kind of start a little bit of the processes and see what's going on. This is right here. This is a player-made house. This will not be here on whatever server you log into, but it's nice where he's put this little build at and stuff, and that was because of that little camp module he had out, and this little arrows that he has telling you to go in here. Don't pick people's doors. This is immediately going to put a bounty on your head, and that's not something you want because people are going to go and they're going to
I
kill
just
you.
can't shake these nightmares.
And some of the builds, you could actually just jump through the windows, and
Just
you cannot with this, guys, because of the Overseer's look on here. But this guy does have vending stations, and these are vending stations that he owns in which he can sell some of the stuff that he's looking to sell. You know, weapons, armor, plans for certain things. Pretty much almost anything you can get your grubby little paws on, you can sell for the most part. And you know, reasonable pricing and stuff like that. If you have questions about pricing certain items and stuff, you can find it online. I assure you, there's no shortage of information on Reddit regarding this material. So, Google will be your best friend in instances such as this.
Warning, do not interfere with Vault-Tec duty.
So, like I said, the Overseer for the previous area with her little holotape that should have been in that stash when I grabbed it and wasn't for some reason, would tell you to go ahead and craft a piece of armor, craft a weapon, and then make your way on down here to this town. And from here, you would set yourself up for joining the first responders team. And that is where we're heading now, is to go do that. Some water. And then we also leveled up. So let me see here. Action points are the thing down there in the bottom right hand corner where it says AP, just in case you're kind of questioning what that is. You want to get those because it directly affects your ability to sprint for longer distances. Uh, so if you're getting tired of running out of breath a little too quickly, then you might want to invest in that almost immediately.
Overseer's log, town of Flatwood. My God, there's no one here. The old tavern, the church, people were using them for shelter, but they're gone. Mutations we expected. But there's something else. A disease. I was attacked by... Well, it used to be a person. But it had these green, glowing lesions, and its voice... angry, tortured. We are one. One what? Whatever happened here is beyond anything we expected. And we expected a lot. Before they were wiped out, the survivors called themselves the Responders. Looks like they were made of firefighters, police, emergency medical staff. They even have an automated system to teach people about treating water, food, survival. I'm doing their tests, and you should too. I know it's even worse than we imagined, but someone's got to know where the missile silos are, and how to secure them. The Responders are the best lead we have. This is the Overseer, signing off.
So your first outfit that you'll get once you get out of Fallout 76's vault and get to the first town of Flatwoods, which was the name I was looking for originally, will be the Responder's outfit. There are tons and tons of outfits here in this game, just the base game alone, so you don't have to go buying a lot of the stuff from the Atomic Shop unless you're specifically looking for a cosmetic that you really want to actually have. But just bear in mind that there are more than enough types of outfits that will cover your armor inside of the game for this. I myself am going to just go ahead and take a look at some of the outfits I currently have. It doesn't really look like anything that I want to necessarily have right this instance. So we'll just go ahead and ignore that, but we do need to make some armor. Breaking things down too here in this game, you can break anything down minus like legendaries, legendary weapons or anything that has a star on them. But you can break all the weapons down and all the armor down that you find via any crafting bench for chemicals, armor, weaponry, and the tinker's bench. You can break these things down by easily just hitting scrap when you walk up to one of the benches. You don't have to go to the weapons bench to break down weapons or the apparel bench to break down armor. So just keep that in mind that if you're just looking to break some stuff down, you can go to any of those four previously aforementioned crafting stations and break these items down.
Automated warning to all responders. Mr. Farmhands are out of control. Evacuate civilians and take down those supervisors. Once they're dealt with,
DASA has asked us all to document our stories for posterity, you know. It seems like a fine idea. So, hi, I am Kesha McDermott. When the bombs fell, I was in Watoga, coordinating a statewide science fair for that year's high school kids. And the theme was the future of energy. After the bombs, everything was pretty chaotic. Scavenging for food and fighting off rabid survivors. Oh, it was just a bad time all around. I found a couple of surviving kids from the high school whose parents didn't make it. And we holed up in a house in town for a while. After a bit, I was able to solder the circuitry in an old radio, and we tuned in to a broadcast from the responders. Oh, we were overjoyed. The trip from Watoga to Flatwoods, it was rough, mind you. The kids and I ran into a group of...
Responder DASA gave me some supplies in exchange for my survivors.
So as you can see, any new thing that you can pick up for holotapes is automatically going to play over the previous one,
I was a nurse before the war.
which is a blessing in some cases and an annoyance in some other ones.
I just work for the responders now.
I just would
So,
like them to
hey,
stop. So in order for you to get them to
the
stop,
government is basically
pretty
the
much got to
same
go in
now as it
here
was years ago.
and just stop it that way. Sometimes you just don't want to hear him talk.
Chloe's my pet. Or maybe I'm hers. I'm not sure.
Reverend Delbert Winters here, born and raised in this very town. Lent my own church to the responders for their outpost here, and you're welcome. The responders are on a true mission, you see, helping folks through thick and thin, till the heavens open up again and take us all up anyways. When this all happened, I figured like most it was time. This was the end, but it wasn't, was it? We're still here. At first, I thought it was a mistake, that we was missed, forgotten. Maybe we did some wrongs. Didn't give enough to charity, maybe. Didn't praise his name, even in the worst of times. Maybe thought some things that ought not to been thought. So I asked him. I asked how. Why? I fought your wars on Earth. I'm ready to fight them up there by your side. Then, in my despair, I saw some survivors eating raw rat carcass behind a dumpster. You ought to cook that first, I warned them. Seemed obvious. We tried but got sick, they said, covered in their own filth. I realized right then and there that I was being tasked. From then on, I built kitchens, cooked good food, fed anyone who walked up with an empty belly. And I was thankful for my task in life. Thankful. Next time hell or high water land at my stoop, I'll be swept clear away with it. But until then, let's share a home-cooked meal together, all right?
So when you see the rewards come up, it says plan. Those plans are going to be found under your notes section of your Pip-Boy, and you actually have to read them before you can start creating these items, because plans are all about creating specific items and stuff. So you would go under the item tab and then the sub tab of notes and go ahead and read these things. And now all of those things you can actually craft when you get this stuff. So just remember that every once in a while you want to go in there and you want to check your notes and verify that you've read everything. And if you know that you picked something up and all of a sudden you can't craft it, more than likely you've probably pulled a stunt like I have multiple times where you just haven't read the plan and you'll get to feel really dumb after that. So with that being said, it's going to take us to Morgantown next, which is up here to the northern area. And this is going to be a little hike to get there. There's really no easy way to get there. It's just hoofing it all the way up there. In the meantime, I have ranked up a couple times, and then once you've reached level 5, now other players can come up to you and shoot you. So if you're not really looking to shoot anybody, and you just want to make sure that it doesn't happen, you want to go into pacifist mode, is what you're going to want to do. And pacifist mode can be found under the game options, which I'll show you in just a moment.
Chloe looks after me. She's the best guardian a girl could have.
So go under settings, and then game, and you come down here to pacifist mode. And you can see down the bottom it says in pacifist mode you cannot hurt other players and are choosing not to participate in PvP, player versus player. Other players can still murder you. So yes, I know it sounds crappy that other people can come up and just murder you, and you can't do anything to them. You would actually, if somebody tries to come up and start killing you, it does do less damage to you, but you're eventually going to die, especially if it's like a higher ranking player who's actually built correctly. They will end up just slaughtering you. In order for you to start shooting them back, you can't just shoot them back and then it immediately removes you from pacifist mode. No, you will have to actually come in here and remove yourself from pacifist mode and then shoot at them. Keep in mind, having pacifist mode on when you're in an event with other friends or a group of people in some of these large events, you are accidentally going to shoot somebody. So if you are not in pacifist mode and you shoot somebody, then you're setting yourself up to have a bounty put on your head, and anybody and everybody on the map is going to kill you. So pacifist mode is essentially a safe way of making sure that you have friendly fire turned on. That way, when you accidentally shoot people, that it doesn't count against you, and they're not going to turn around and shoot you because you're obviously in an event or whatever, and you're looking to actually try to assist, and they happen to get in their way because you'll find a lot of people in this game where they want to play a melee build and you're trying to shoot something and they run right up in there and they go to hit it and they block your line of fire. So you are going to shoot them. If you don't have pacifist mode on, you're going to do some damage to them and you're probably going to get a bounty on your head. Um, and unless you're okay with that, then I would suggest turning pacifist mode on. So with that long hoof that we have to make it all the way up there to the northern area and stuff, that is going to be something that we'll play at a different time. We've already been streaming for about a good 45 minutes now, so we're going to go ahead and shut this down for the evening. And the next time that I'm on here, more than likely, I will have run through some of these with this character already, um, just to try to get them ranked up a little bit and get them squared away for some more gameplay. But just always keep in mind that you always want to try to keep like one to more than two of these missions in the upper right hand corner, and that is done by going to data and then clicking on the missions that you want to, because events like this that pop up will automatically pop up on the right hand side. I have mine set to where it won't do that. I have to physically go in there and turn it on because your entire right side of your screen will just eventually be filled with everything. Same thing will go with dailies, side missions, and stuff like that. So I have all these turned off until I actually do that, um, except for main story missions. And I just think that it's much easier that when you're getting these missions to have these specific things turned off automatically and then you adjust what it is that you want to go to at that time. You also don't have to go into that Pip-Boy and go to data in order to choose your missions. You could also very well go to the map and you'll see like these little boxes that are black with a gold outline, and you can click on this and toggle it to active, um, or make this active only, which will remove all the other things off of the right side of the screen and just put up that particular one. So there is an easier way of that being said, um, and done. As you can see, this guy right here has probably either killed somebody, picked a lock, or just been a complete dick and has, done something that most of us don't typically do. It's very few times that you'll see anything like this where somebody has purposely done something. They may have accidentally shut up a house trying to protect it, and now they've got a bounty on their head. So just be wary. I mean, it's not something I technically worry about the entire time I'm gaming, or else I wouldn't be playing on public servers. And the times that it has happened and I've gotten frustrated, I simply log out and I go to my private instances instead, and I don't deal with it. So I hope you enjoyed the little stream that we had tonight, and this will be going on my YouTube channel for Irascible Joker, either within the next 24 hours. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just go ahead and stop by there and leave a shout out. And thanks for watching. Y'all have a good night.